Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
The Indian workforce is strong, but needs to become stronger with respect to their financial understanding. With each passing year, India's workforce is incessantly on the rise. With over 12 million youth joining the job brigade every year, their everyday exposure is primarily limited specifically to their job profiles, thus ignoring their monthly chances of adding additional value to their earnings.
Financial awareness is a critical function. It's a life skill besides being a career skill as such. It is important for everybody to know how the money, whatever money, everybody is earning money with a huge amount of difficulty. They put in a lot of effort to earn whatever they're earning. It is critical that they know how to preserve it, conserve it, grow it, so that it will be with them when it is required to be with them.
An individual's earnings or savings are close to his or her heart. Managing one's monetary finances is often a tedious task unless taken care of wisely with the right attitude.
Frankly speaking, in India, the financial literacy is very, very poor. And this poor financial literacy is causing a big hole in the pocket of a small investor in particular.
If you look at last decade and a half, the income levels have gone up phenomenal. So youngsters are earning much more than what their parents were earning. Spending avenues have gone up. Obviously, they have access to global facilities, services, products, services. Investment options have gone up, and we have more and more products coming. We have choices. We can invest globally. And so are the loan avenues in terms of borrowing. Having said that, while this has gone up, the actual management of money is not taught anywhere. So they have more options, they have more choices, but they don't know how to handle that.
The working class is unaware about the various options laid down for them, those that can empower them with the ability to understand the entire world of finance, investments and wealth management. Adding to their limited understanding are the working lifestyles of individuals that have also changed for the worse. Growing workloads and busy schedules have left people to worry less about the future of their finances and more on their daily activities.
Wealth management is a continuous process. Wealth management is not a discrete process, it's a continuous process of actually managing your money such that you increase the probability of your financial well-being in years to come. Unfortunately, our society measures success from the financial well-being. So I personally think for you to actually gain respect in the society, you need to manage your finances properly, right? And make sure that you never fall into a debt trap. So what happens is anybody who does not do right amount and right methods of wealth management are not followed, he is more prone to getting into a debt trap, which can actually cascade into a blow up more than you can imagine.
Taking into account the fact that a major part of the working population is mainly within the age group of 15 to 59, a sizable chunk is still unaware about managing their own finances end to end, let alone figuring out their own 16A formalities.
In India, we are the largest working population. The young working population is one of the largest in the world, and we are also growing economy. So we would see huge talent, being incorporated into the industry. And all specialized fields. We have different fields, people expertising in different fields. You have somebody who's an engineer, you have somebody who's into designing. Well, these are specialized fields. And the central focal point of all these occupations is money eventually. So there has to be some kind of knowledge. There has to be basic knowledge. We're not saying you need to be experts in managing money, but you need to have a good sense of knowing money, knowing finance, and then managing it. You need not be an expert, but there has to be some basic knowledge which you need to have, so that you can basically use money and take the benefits of money.
As we interact with some of the youngsters who are just starting their careers, we realize that there is huge amount of basic lack of information. They're possibly not tuned to looking at money in different ways other than possibly as a credit card, where they can just go and buy a bike or a new mobile phone or whatever which is coming into the market. So we have seen a significant amount of gap in that, and there's very general lack of understanding of how to create a long-term wealth for themselves.
The workforce is also unaware about the benefits, be it long-term or short-term, and further add to their plight of uninformed financial knowledge. Irrespective of initiatives organized by several organizations, most employees often tend to go astray due to heavy jargons that financial advisors often use while interacting with them. This pushes them further away, causing them to depend on family members or spouses to do the needful and eventually widening a knowledge gap.
All honesty, I'm not an investment person at all, but I've just been driven by family. In terms of family, I mean, my mother has always been right from the beginning very interested in bonds and, you know, getting me funds. And so I, now that, like, you know, I'm 24 and I'm at that age where, you know, I look back and of course her investments have been worth it. So for me, now that I've started working, that's a step that I need to take in terms of investing and not putting all my eggs in one basket and investing wisely.
I get my advice from my friends and my family. It also depends on the current economic situation. If the market is upbeat, then I like to invest. If the market is probably slow, sluggish and not so promising, then I mean obviously I'm not an expert on investment. So I want to be very thoughtful of the money that I invest. So I generally don't invest at that point in time.
There are, you know, clearly two sets of people. One set who is really very evolved, and they are very well read. There's a lot of information available, so they can do their own research, and you know, they can even come back in debate with professionals as to, you know, which is the right investment avenue, and you know, how do you go about your investments and managing your money. Of course, the other set is, you know, a lot of the time you say, okay, my parents are doing it extremely well, so you know, I hide behind that and say, yeah, they'll take care of my money, and I go back to them and say, you know, this is my money that I have and you take care of everything.
The general investment trend, especially among the youth, is that they are careless, not at all interested. Half of them will say, my dad or my mom, he is taking care of my investments.
There is a growing concern that financial knowledge spread across the country is limited to certain specific academic courses. This limitation needs to be addressed. Working professionals are on the rise, and with each rise in percentage, they have to be financially educated, at least to ensure a much more secure future.
We say we have 100% literacy in India, but when it comes to financial literacy, we have just around 10% financial literacy. You know, in college and in college education, we study about economics, we study about other things, but hardly we see a financial literacy or education being imparted in college. People are not aware how to manage their money. They are never being told that way, you know, right in class 5th and 6th standard. So if this can be incorporated in the syllabus, that how to manage your money well, you know, how to save, how to plan for your investments, this can go a long way in planning for your finances.
Also, many a times people get confused between financial planning, wealth management and investments, not knowing that the latter is an umbrella concept featuring the rest.
Investment for me would be something wherein I take some goods or probably some money that is kept aside, and that would have a futuristic approach that in future will be a wealth for me, it will create income for me, it will benefit me.
I do know about some financial products, like there are mutual funds and there are insurance products, as well as you can go into maybe real estate as well, and gold is also another option apart from the usual FDs which are there.
Most importantly, when we interact with people who just joined the workforce, or it's their first job and they're probably in the, say, 100 days of their employment, you know, when you talk about financial planning to them, there is a sense of aversion where they feel financial planning only means investing. Well, financial planning does not mean only investing. Financial planning just means that you are able to manage your finances. So whatever income that you're generating, there has to be an adequate amount allocated towards expenditure. And then there has to be some amount of knowledge and some thought needs to be given for savings.
Financial planning helps investors to achieve their financial goals. Sometimes it is misunderstood as investment planning. Investment planning is a part of financial planning, but when we talk about financial planning, it starts with the understanding where you stand today and where you want to go.